Hello there, and welcome back to the Chap's Guide. My name is Ash, and I am your host on this journey through men's style, self-development, and personal grooming. Now, regular viewers to the channel will be aware that I am a really big advocate of fragrance for men, be it aftershave, eau de parfum, eau de toilette, whatever it may be. I think it's really important that a gentleman chooses a scent to take him through life. So why is it that I choose a cologne every day, and actually I feel rather naked unless I have a fragrance which surrounds me as I go about my daily activities? Well, today I'm going to tell you why I think it is that every intentionally well-dressed man absolutely should spend some money and some thought in choosing his cologne every day. Now, the first reason that I suggest to you that using a cologne is a necessary part of your daily regime is the fact that the fragrance industry is able to provide us with research which suggests that at least 80% of men go through life without any form of scent or aftershave or cologne whatsoever, which suggests to us that they are entirely content with, hopefully, the fragrance of soap or deodorant, worst case scenario, the fragrance of that muskiness which comes with being a man. But for me, I think I would feel unfinished as an overall package if I didn't choose some form of cologne on a daily basis. You know, I put on my suit or my clothing for the day ahead. I would somehow not feel complete unless I selected a fragrance to match what I was going to do that day, my activities, the mood that I wanted to, imbue myself with. So for that reason, stand out from the crowd, be part of the 20% of intentionally well-dressed men who make the decision to choose a cologne every day. Now, the second reason why I think you should choose a cologne every day is sensory projection. Now, I don't know about you, but certain smells influence the way I feel. You know, you go into a room, you can smell something, it'll spark nostalgia for something which has happened in the past. Your olfactory sense is something which has a great deal of power over the brain. And for me as an individual, I know if I'm going out into my day and I've got an action-packed day, I've got some performance activity to undertake. Shall we say I'm giving a big presentation in the office, or I'm feeding back on the performance of a project I'm working on to the management board. I will want a fragrance which boosts my mood, which will make me feel confident and strong. And I'll choose a fragrance at the beginning of the day which will make me feel like that. Now, over the years, I've curated a collection of fragrances which I know have an impact on me as an individual. You know, my sense of worth or my sense of self, because of the way that those smells, those accords of the different fragrances work upon my psyche. Certain fragrances I've selected here for my little collection today. One of my favourite summer fragrances is Yves Saint Laurent Kouros. An old classic, been around for decades and decades, but for me it takes me right back to my early adulthood. Today, a fragrance which I use when I want to feel empowered and strong and confident is Dunhill's Icon. Works a treat for me every time. So for you, as you go through your life, and you will find that you want an extra supercharged boost for an occasion that you're going into. Say you're going into something quite sporty. There's nothing better than Dracar Noir, a really power fragrance from the 1980s, which puts a kick in your step every time. So get yourself a little collection of fragrances that you know will have a positive and reliable impact on your mood and the way that you feel. Now, sometimes you want to do the opposite. You will want a fragrance which is calming and relaxing and will help you slow down and take stock. I actually curate a small collection of fragrances which I tend to wear after I've had a shower at the end of the day. Fragrances like 4711 and a number of others, which as soon as I put them on, they calm me, they're relaxing. The impact they have on my olfactory sense of smell slows me down and make me relaxed. That is the power of cologne if used effectively in your life. Don't miss out on the opportunity to do the same. Now, the next reason why I will suggest that cologne is useful in your life is the reaction it gets from other people that you encounter. Whilst, as I say, it can make you feel very different, it can also impart a strong impression on the other people that you meet. And let's not ever underestimate the first impression and its power on others. To make you think about how fragrance can be useful in forming a first impression, let me paint a scenario for you. Imagine you're, I don't know, standing in a coffee shop waiting to be served, and an attractive person walks past you, be it a male or a female, whatever your predilection in life, and their fragrance comes into your nose. You discover their scent in the air, and it quickens your senses, it heightens your animal instinct, it begins to get your hormones moving. Many species in the world, they're drawn towards partners by fragrance alone. So never underestimate the power of fragrance and how it can have on the impact that you project onto other people. Now, the next reason why I will suggest that it's important to have a signature fragrance in your life is something we've already touched on. The fact that a fragrance has the ability to trigger memory within people. The olfactory sense is very closely linked to that sense of memory. And you'll have been there, you'll have walked into a room and you've smelled cooking or laundry or a particular soap or a fragrance, and immediately you've gone back in time 30 years. Like I said, with Q Ross, for me, the merest whiff of it in the air takes me back decades and decades. And you can harness this in the impact that you make upon others. Now, shall we suggest that you have a job in which you interact with clients, service users, and it's important to make a good impression. If you're selling something or managing a project for them, you want to make the best possible impression at the most basic level, the way that you smell. And if you've been in a room with people and you smell wonderful, of a beautiful cologne, this will register in people's minds. It may be subliminal, it might be that they will verbalize it. My mother has got a habit of always saying when she remembers somebody, oh God, they smelled beautiful. And it's such a positive way to be remembered in people's minds. It's certainly a lot better than being remembered as the person who doesn't smell very good at all. So use the power of fragrance, harness it, enslave it to your purpose by making sure that the people you meet remember you because you smell wonderful. By way of emphasizing that point, I can vividly remember an occasion where that was in evidence. I'm going to take you back to 1990. I was in the Royal Air Force at the time, based in Germany, working in a department in which we locally employed Germans to work for us. And there was one of these German chaps, his name was Willie, and he would be one of the first guys in every morning. He's an older gentleman, he was at least in his 60s, and he always smelt beautiful. He would always shake my hand every morning, as was the way with our German civilian staff, and he would hand me the newspaper. It was a German language newspaper. I couldn't read it, but I would glance through it, looking at the pictures. We'd have a sort of attempt at a conversation in both our languages. But the one thing that sticks in my mind all these 30 plus years later is that Willie was a man who emitted the most beautiful cologne fragrance every day. First thing in the morning, he smelled wonderful. Now, I can't remember anything else about Willie, but I can tell you his cologne was on point and it stuck in my memory. 30 years later, that's the only thing I can remember. It goes to show the power of fragrance when you meet people and the impression you will leave on their memory and how they will think of you. So now we've looked at the reasons why I think you should wear cologne, but I'm going to sum up with my final answer to the question I posed at the beginning. Why should you wear cologne? Well, for me, I think the answer is obvious. Cologne or fragrance or scent, whatever you want to call it, is the finishing touch to every outfit that I wear, be it formal, informal, casual, depending on what I'm going to do. It is the invisible aura that surrounds me every day, all of the time. It communicates to the people that I meet a little bit about my personality and the sort of person that I am, without me even having to say a single word. It does a lot of the work for me when I'm trying to convey to people a little bit about my personality. It will leave a lasting impression on the people that you meet, in some cases that may last for decades after you've originally met them. They will always think of you as that chap who smells good. And it may turn the heads of potential partners if you're hoping to meet somebody for a romantic situation. So never underestimate the power of fragrance. Most of all, I wear cologne because it makes me feel good. It has a power to influence my mood, my confidence, and how I feel about the day ahead. In the morning, when I pick the fragrance that I'm going to wear that day, in a way, I pick the suit of armour that I'm going out into the world to do battle within. If I want confidence, I go for the fragrances that make me feel powerful and strong. If I want sportiness, I go for the fragrances that make me feel athletic. And if I want calmness and tranquility, I choose those fragrances which fit that element of my personality. So start to think about curating a collection for yourself that you know will do battle for you in the situations where you need that little boost. It doesn't cost a lot of money in the long run. You don't have to spend a pile of money on fragrance. You can, of course, but you don't have to. Choose the things that work for you, that smell great in your mind. Don't wear a fragrance just because you see an advert and is hype telling you that you should wear it. Choose fragrance because you love it and it imparts a little bit of your personality into the world. And I'm sure it will work out well for you. Now, I hope you've enjoyed this video on why you should wear cologne. If you have, I would encourage you to give us a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber already, press that red button. And if you'd like to positively help the channel, you can buy me a coffee. I will leave a link to that Buy Me a Coffee page down below in the description box. I'd be delighted to share a drink with you. So, until the next time, take care of yourselves, wear that cologne for the best possible effect every day. And I will see you again very soon.